Good evening, we're in Limerick, it's late night, and we are live from Studio 55, presented by EURODISC. Your favourite ulti.TV analysts and idiots are here to provide you with the biggest stories, the hot gossip, the breaking news from EUC 2023. You know who we are by this point. Benji, Charlotte, Lorcan, Hanny, Steph, Christina, Lou, and everyone else we can find basically to cram into a studio. You'll have seen it on the opening slide. We've got Germany women's coming up later, as well as Ireland mixed. But let's kick things off with two lads who have made, I think, a bit of a statement so far this year. They've, I think, kind of already strengthened their burgeoning reputations. Ladies and gentlemen, Toby de Krijn and Dan de Marais.
So yeah, you had a really good day today, 2 wins on your side, congratulations on that. We had a streamed game of yours versus Italy, and I had a question about this, is we saw you had a little hard time at the start of the game before your comeback. What can you tell us about this? Like, is it a mindset thing? How is the mindset of the team actually at the start of games?
So yesterday we had a big meeting with the O-line to fix some issues we had in the beginning of the tournament, and I think we just had to adapt to some new systems, some new roles, and we also had to figure out the Italian zone a bit, but in the end.
Amazing, and congrats on that, because it really asked for a lot of mental strength.
I'm not sure if we're getting our highlights of the game right away or not. We may get them soon. We may get I think I just got a point, so we're getting some highlights. Right behind me over here. I can't see them, but we're gonna check out what you guys did against Italy. I got a few questions, but primarily talk to us about the end of this game. It went very tight. It was a 2-point win. There were 1 or 2 calls that were contentious at the very end. I think everybody left the field happy, but I know in the chats there was a lot of people agreeing and disagreeing with one particular play in the end zone that went 2 people up and the foul was called. I think you guys got the benefit. But talk to us about the end of that game, maybe a little bit about how those plays.
Yeah, so in the end of the game, I think we had the advantage with our D-line. We had 2 times, we could broken them 2 times, but we didn't. So yeah, that was a bit of a bitter end, because we could have ended the game way earlier. But yeah, I think those calls, one call is on my, then the Italian guy steps on my foot, and I told him, yeah, did you not feel stepping on my foot? And he said no, and then Chopo came in and explained it a little bit, and then yeah, he felt it. Okay. So I don't know what happened there, but yeah, I think yeah, if you see, like, this is the last point, we ended it pretty good. Yeah, we had some chances already, but I think, yeah, we were the better side in that game.
I'll ask you one more about that, Dan. You had a matchup with Gasperini. He got deep on you 2 or 3 times at the start of the game. That definitely came up in the chat as well. You got a few back on him towards the end of the game, but just talk about the matchup between you and Simone Gasperini. It was a good one to watch, but tell us.
Yeah, Gasperini is a tough guy. You cannot let him go under, and you cannot let him go deep, especially deep. That he fucked me twice or 3 times. So, because we knew, yeah, we had to guard Pavan and Gasperini. And we knew, yeah, if one had a shot to the other, it would be just a strike. So yeah, it was tough to guard them. But yeah, I did 1D on him, I think. So yeah, it's not that bad. But
Not that bad.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Damn good. Sorry.
Charlotte. And amazing on this game that we saw on the stream. If you didn't see it yet, go watch it. It's really good. But there's the second one we didn't get to see on streaming, your game against Czech Republic, that went really good for you, I think. What can you tell us about it? We want to know more. We didn't say that.
So I felt in the beginning that we were a little bit like, yeah, we were telling jokes and stuff, and we weren't so serious. So I thought, yeah, okay, maybe PA, the coach, had to say something about that, and we did, and we started the game really fired up. We broke them 3 times, I think, in the beginning, or yeah. So then we just started to get on a roll, and yeah, we just, if you want to say something.
Yeah, I think in the beginning the D-line did an amazing job. In the beginning of the second half, I think we got broken maybe twice in a row. So that was a bit tough for the O-line, but then the D-line took, I think, 7 breaks after 6 or 7 in a row, so we fixed it.
You got it all sorted out. We just had a look up there on screen. It's disappeared, but your score lines from the whole tournament thus far, it may come back up, maybe not, in any sense, and here it is. So there's a look at the Belgian Open scores. So a convincing win to start against the Swiss, equally convincing against the Danes, and then there's that one in the middle. Before you got another win against the Swiss and a win against the Italians we've just talked about, but that one in the middle is the one that wasn't a win. And I saw an interesting Instagram post at the end of that game. But tell us a bit about the Toby. This question is definitely for you. Tell us a bit about as much of that game as possible, and make sure you give some details about the end.
Yeah, so I think in the beginning we were down quite a lot. The O-line just wasn't good in the first half. We got broken maybe 4 times. So tough first half, and luckily the D-line got us back into the game during the second half, and then we fought all the way back to Universe Point, which had a pretty interesting call in the end. It was on me. I did to my opinion, clean defense, but yeah, the person I was guarding
well rallied.
Felt some contact before the play. I don't agree with it, but as he said in the end on the Spirit Circle, sometimes contested is the best way to solve a call like that. Yeah, I don't fully agree with it, and I'm still a bit upset about it, but we'll get our chance.
That's a good attitude about it. I think that's questions from me. Let's take it to the couch here, the punters.
Thank you. Speaking on behalf of the punters, I wanted to ask, just to go back to, you talked about people like Gasparini and Pavan, where you don't want to force them deep because they're such dangers in that region, but if you force them under, they're lethal with the disc. And if you could just kind of give us a little insight into, at the elite level, the decision-making that goes into when you're trying to set up defensive strategies against those kinds of players. Like, how do you pick your poison against people who can do everything?
Yeah. Just try your best on the field. Give them the under, not the deep, because they can sky everyone. But yeah, I think what I did is I did a lot of poaching that game, maybe a little bit too much. But I wanted to Gasparini, that he came under, and that he had the disc, because I think I know when he's gonna release it and on which point he's gonna release it. So I wanted to do a block there and not in the air, because he can just block me out very good. And yeah, with Pavan, I think Pavan is a guy that is really good in the deep space, but I think he's less good with the disc in his hands. So we wanted him at the disc. Yeah, that's all I think.
Obviously, there's so much talent on this Belgian squad, so it's difficult to pick any one player that can make a big impact in a particular game. So I just wanted to ask, are there any of your teammates who you kind of feel don't necessarily get enough recognition from Ultimate fans?
I think my brother is definitely one of them. He doesn't get a lot of recognition. Davide Mori also called him Shadow Boy, because he's a bit in the shadow sometimes, but I think he does amazing blocks and amazing Ds as well. I think mostly him.
Yeah, and PJ de Millenaren, maybe one of the best receivers we had in Belgium, and now he's coming back. Okay, he gets some recognition, but still, he's still amazing. He's doing a great job for us.
I think people forgot quite how good PJ was when he had that spell on the sidelines. Who's got the worst haircut on the team?
The worst haircut? I
Because
think
there
it's
are-
the
yeah.
coach. The coach.
Oh,
Yeah.
shots fired.
Shots fired.
No, oh yeah, it's live.
Well, I think everyone on that team has the same haircut, so equally bad, equally good, maybe. So my question is actually regarding that second Swiss game. Did you, because the scoreline was rather clear, 15-5, I think, the first game. The second game, 15-12. Did the Swiss just play better, or did you underestimate them?
I think we definitely weren't as ready as we were the first game. But as I said, that's the game. We made some offensive mistakes, which we had to fix for the game against GB. And we had to go back to the basics. But yeah, it was a well-fought game from them as well. They played really well.
We're going to throw it over to Lou and the Hive crew, who have got a little bit of analysis from a selection of clips, including Belgium today. It's like being back in Media City with all these wasps. Yeah, let's
Right.
swap. Let's throw over to Lou.
So we saw in the highlights briefly some drone footage. There's some more drone footage from this game. This in particular is some zone offense from you guys. So I just want to ask, as we watch this footage, what were the adjustments that the team made from the start of the game to slightly further on, as this you do score this point? I'm not showing a clip of you guys turning over, don't worry. You struggled against the zone early on, and what adjustments did you make to do better against it, I guess?
Yeah, so in the beginning we were very static. I think with the disc, with the handlers, we didn't know how to move, how to do our movements and stuff. But I think, yeah, I came up after 2 breaks, and I think I did a little bit of more movement in the handler play, so we could do more give and goes and stuff. But then, yeah, in the second half, we were just way better against the zone, and we did a lot of more tricky passes, like the scoobers, like just the overheads, the bladey flicks. So that was very the key to us, to just trust those throws and to trust the receiver on the end of it.
Yeah, because the first couple points of zone offense, you weren't on the pitch, Dan, and then you came on, and suddenly it all seemed to work.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's I don't know what to say on that, but no, I like playing offense. I like playing a lot, and I like to play with Toba and Benji, with all the youth guys. I have a great connection with them, so that helped as well. So yeah, no, I think it's just yeah, the more movement in the handler play that I gave, it was just yeah, more easy to get through.
Awesome. I don't know if you have anything to add there, Felix, or not.
I've got a couple of questions beyond that, or like aside from that. I was wondering. Sorry. Okay. First off, it's absolute joy watching you play. Whenever I see you on the field, it's like super interesting. My brain goes on fire because of the spacing and the movement and the techniques. I absolutely love watching you play. I was wondering, when you learnt Ultimate, did you learn in that style? What kind of systems and structures did you have when you were learning the game initially? Could that be one for Dan?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I said it before. I think it's about my my soccer career. I played on the midfield, so it's not the same, but it's pretty much you see everything on the field, and you just analyze everything, what's gonna happen if there. And it's the same with Ultimate. You see a cut from here, so yeah, okay, what's gonna be the next cut? Is it gonna be up the line, or is it gonna be a swing? And I think that's the main part where I can show my best Ultimate to see what's gonna happen next, and to just visualize the game. So.
Nice. Excellent. And Toby, I've got a question directly for you. You have a technique which I love, and I think if everybody did this, then like it would change like the way that people attacked forwards in the game. Because if you can catch and throw whilst just maintaining your speed, then people could just be running around catching and throwing, just jogging between each other. I think we've got a clip of this, and I'm interested in what you think about that initially. But then I think there might be some reaction from other people, and I'll be interested in hearing what they think about it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so just that. So you're going to show that a few times. Show that a few times and form your opinions, you know, like, what does this look like? Okay, yeah, so, yes, what do you think about that stuff?
Yeah, I think that's with the new travel rule. I just learned it this year. The first time I heard the new rule that you don't have to slow down anymore. I just felt like it's a bit of a loophole in the system, so I wanted to use it in my advantage as much as possible. On the clip you see it, I do it in a rather slow pace, but you can also do it like really fast, and then it's more of a killer. The USA guys don't really get it, but yeah, I think I just learned this year how to play like really motion and really like the give goes, the fast plays. So I think it's another asset to my skill set.
Yeah, like I say, if everyone did that, like whenever they could, then just like so many passes would be easy and so much movement would be easy. Can I have a show of hands? Who thinks, now we've seen that 10 times, who thinks that's a travel?
Don't you dare.
Okay, Benji.
I don't think it's a travel, I just wanted to be contrarian.
Is it one step too many?
No, it seems legit.
So, but I honestly, you do this on the field, out of 14 people, someone's going to call travel, right?
Yeah, I did it, like this is only like one give and go, but I have a point in the USA-Belgium game as well where I do like, I think maybe 10 passes in a row, and they didn't call it on the first 5, and then after that they start calling it, which was a bit odd.
I think we should settle whether it is or not, right? You said the USA players had a reason for calling that.
They told me after the game that in the US the rules are different and you have to slow down. He said to me that that was the reason he called it.
I think Lou's got some knowledge or opinion about that.
Yeah, I mean, Ruben Berg went on the Eurozone podcast after the rules change back in 2020 and said specifically that the update to the travel rule was to be more in line with the US. So, interesting take from the US players.
Damn Yankees.
We have one final quick clip to play. I'm just going to give you the microphone and you can react to this.
I hope this is another one of those visionary end zone throws like we had from Anne Menard yesterday.
It's not actually. Let me give the context. So the context here is Oczynski goes down with having taken a bit of a knock. You can see he's holding his knee a little bit. Looks quite serious and from that angle, but he's actually completely fine. But watch. Well, he's still injured from this play. Well, interesting. Well, let's see what he does next.
Just
So, Dan, you were on the disc for this. What were you thinking? Well, you don't end up throwing to him, reasonably so. But what were you thinking when you saw this?
I thought like, just call injury. Just call injury because it was his knee. So I thought, yeah, okay, we can put Benji on him. But now he's not. He's injured, so it would be better to just call injury. But But yeah, what he does there, yeah, I don't know. He's just crazy. He's just a crazy guy. But he's a lovely guy. But what my frustrated a little bit is that Gaetan, the guy behind him, just stays in the break side. But yeah, okay. Yeah. I don't know what to say more about.
Cool. I think we've got to wrap it up there so we can get our next guests in. So a huge round of applause, everyone. Toby and Dan. We're going to have a quick little break here so we can transition to one-on-one get our next guests in. We'll see you on the other side.
We live in a world where everything can be referenced online. Imagine if the greatest moments in our sport were never filmed. EURODISC continues to do what it takes to make free-to-watch live streams a reality. Let's leave nothing to the imagination. We'll consume the action live, and we'll support those that help to make it happen. If it wasn't streamed, it didn't happen. EURODISC.
What a grab! Oh my! Somehow they do it!
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ulti.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
fund
fund
our work to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
Another seamless transition passed off by the wonderful ulti.TV tech crew. It's Limerick Late Night Live presented by EURODISC. Please welcome in 2 stars of the German women's side, if I can put my teeth back in, Anna Gerner and Inga Spanut.
Welcome to the couch. You are our 3rd iteration of Team D, Germany. Congratulations on, of course, your unbroken record so far. How long have you two been playing together, is it now?
Do you want to take that? First of all, thanks for having us. Well, we've been playing together since 2010, I think it was, for the Under-17s European Championship in Heilbronn, which we actually won. Yeah, and we've been playing together ever since.
Excellent. And there's actually, I think, one of your teammates, Anna, who you were playing against back at that same championships, obviously on the club side with Jinx. How does it feel to be playing with Oda Holmlong?
Awesome. Actually, we found out only like a few months ago that we played against each other in Heilbronn. We looked back at the footage, and it was hilarious to see us both play in our first months after starting playing Ultimate.
Indeed. Lorcan and I had a very similar thing. We were both at that one, but of course in the older division, because we're old people. Christina?
Yes, I wanted to touch back on your flawless record so far. Do you think that win at Windmill helped you gain the confidence you needed to perform this way? Or were you always like sure that team would perform?
No, for sure not. I mean, a new season, a new team, and before we started playing Windmill, we had no idea where we will be in Europe. But I felt the same before Europeans. Like, we come here, it's a fresh start. A Windmill win doesn't give you anything. So it was back to zero, new games, new tournament, and it's going pretty well so far.
Nice. And I know, Inga, you got a little something from Windmill. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, it was a late Saturday or early Sunday idea that, we met a friend of ours that said he brought his tattoo gun with him. And we said if we'd win the final, we'd get sideline tattoos. And in the end, we didn't really have time for everyone, but I got one. So I got the little X. It's like abstract windmill blades.
Oh, cool. Love it.
Thank you again for the person who gave the tattoo to me.
So for every future win, you will put another X next to that?
Maybe. I think there's we checked out some tattoo spots in Dublin and Limerick, so we'll see.
There's actually like 3 or 4 players who said that they will get a tattoo if we win European, so stay tuned for that.
Are you one of them?
Maybe, we'll see.
Okay.
How much money do we have to make it an ulti.TV tattoo?
Ooh.
I mean, put it out there.
You can ask the team if someone would do it. You should ask Mona. She might be up for it.
Good to know. Well, Dr. Foster running the production actually does have one of the old school logos, not the snazzy new one. So talk us through that Callahan against Great Britain, because I believe there was a preamble on the sideline that happened and then some love from back home after it happened.
Yeah, so the talk on the sideline I didn't hear, but Anna told me afterwards that one of my teammates, Bianca, actually said to our coach, this is going to be a Callahan. And he said, I don't think so, this is upwind break. And yeah, I just remember guarding the dump and then just seeing the disc and running for it, really. I didn't really think about it a lot, but it was a great feeling, and it was my first Callahan ever, so I'm happy. Yeah, and my mom sent me this screenshot of the TV with me being happy and screaming and yeah, saying that the tournament has started for me now. So I'm very thankful for the support from home.
Absolutely, and it's also, I think, it was a nice opportunity for you to, have a decent test. Of course, I think GB themselves were hiding some things in the back pocket, maybe, but certainly a very good attempt. Obviously, this highlights from your game against the Belgians earlier in the tournament that we covered. Any highlights, moments from that for you two? Because, of course, Anna, you were still playing at that point.
In general, I really enjoyed that game, playing with the O-line. I think it was a quite clean game for us. Yeah, this is the final score. Which, yeah, you can probably discuss if it was necessary or not. All my teammates asked me if I only did it for the camera. So
I mean, it's
Thank you. Thank you. Better safe than sorry.
For the camera, it's necessary.
And Hannah, how did it feel, Anna, being on the sidelines for this game? Of course, that injury in the Swiss game that was, again, also quite a tight finish. Was it kind of, what's the mix of emotions for you, watching your team succeed, but obviously not being able to be a part of it at the moment?
Of course, I was super glad that the team, or let's say it in a different way, I was never in doubt that the team would not manage without me. Like, we are 24 amazing players, and yeah, there's so much emotion and love going on in the team that we all fight for each other. And to see it succeed in such a dominant way this morning was awesome. Of course, for me personally, it's tough that the tournament has ended that early. I felt great before going into the tournament, and yeah, it's a real shame that I cannot continue playing.
Well, I'm very glad, and I'm sure everyone else is, because we definitely love to fangirl you, Anna. I'm very glad the physios were on hand to put everything back where it needed to be very, very quickly, and it looks like it's not too swollen at the moment, so that's a good sign.
Yeah, so overall, what is your goal for the future for this tournament? What is your mental approach? Because it's never easy going in as the favorites to this end of the tournament, really.
Well, our goal obviously is to become European champions, and it's always been our goal. But I think the women division this year is so tight, as you can see on the scores with every game, and so we just go from game to game, from point to point, and see what's happening. And yeah, before every game, I think it's going to be a tough game, and I hope we can manage to somehow win it, but it's never easy for us.
And then one very specific question to your game against the Czech Republic. They did get a break on you, and you didn't really manage to convert as many breaks as you maybe have wanted. I remember 22 turns for you. So you got the disc back from them 22 times and didn't convert as much in comparison. Are you going to adjust to that new D-line?
Yeah, we definitely want to get our conversion rate up. I think we did manage to have a good conversion rate in the GB game. And I don't know what the difference was. Maybe it was a little bit windier in the Czech game, and it was the second game of the day. We were tired. And I think we'll adjust from team to team. So I think playing more fast breaks will be a good option. And then, going over our handler play in the D-line, I think that's our key.
Well, so talking about having to play 2 games a day, obviously today it was announced that the finals would be moved to Friday alongside semi-finals because of the weather forecast, which I think is a wise move from the tournament directors, if I say so myself. So playing those 2 games in that day, that are obviously very, very meaningful, especially for your hopes of taking away the gold at the end of the week. So what are you going to do to prepare for that, in particular, kind of that maybe a level of exhaustion in the finals?
Preparation is key. So I think we like to have our team meeting early every night and then go to bed early. We're very grateful for our physios, which take good care of us, and getting all the calories in, getting energy in through food, and then we adjusted our warm-up kind of, because in some games we had a kind of a late start. So now we do mini before we start playing, and we do screaming cheer, just scream it all out with the D-line, and it helped wonders. I don't know. So I think we'll just keep doing that. Yeah.
I think also Friday night setting for a final sounds awesome. I guess the crowd will be super hyped for it. Everyone who's done with the tournament is getting ready to party, and what better than to watch a hopefully really intense game then. So I think it's a good idea.
I'll steal your mic to ask you a question. First of all, just for the people at home watching the stats, we love putting them up, but the blocks column and turnovers is cut off, so they probably have a whole bunch more blocks and turnovers that are not transferring over. That goes for all our guests. But speaking, we've had 2 questions about adjustments, and you said you've got a team of 24 very strong players. They'll be fine without you. But talking about how you are still a principal part of the offense, is there anything particularly being done, any crossovers from D-line to O-line to account for your place in the O-line?
Not really. We had a O-line meeting yesterday evening, and we're just saying that every player on the O-line needs to step up a little bit now and feel the confidence to take over, and as they showed today, it worked out perfectly. So in the end, it's just catching and passing a Frisbee, and I think everyone can do that. My job is not that special, it seems like.
Well, we did in our post-game interview have a slight suggestion that Charlotte Charles might be kind of on the rise, because watching the 2 of you play very similar styles, as give, go, flash across the front of the disc type style, it seems like she can maybe do it. It's lovely to watch the 2 of you together, and maybe we'll get that at the end of the season if you are able to recover. Benji?
Yeah, we're going to have a quick look actually at the results for Germany women so far. And you talked about how, you have the meetings, the game planning. But obviously now we go into brackets. It's difficult to do the game planning because you don't quite know who your opponents are necessarily going to be, because the pre-quarters, quarters, whatever, haven't been played yet. So how do you maybe adapt to putting a game plan together at shorter notice?
Tomorrow we have a late game at 5 in the evening, and we'll have plenty of time until then to prepare for our quarterfinal matchup. It's either going to be Sweden or the Netherlands. We've both played them this season. We had a training camp together with the Netherlands to prepare for EUC. And we've played against Sweden in our first match at the tournament. Of course, we're also very familiar with Uda and Sara. So yeah, it's going to be an exciting one.
So we just saw some stats of your previous games, and we can point out that this the Swiss and Sweden pushed you a little further maybe than other teams did. What do you think they did differently, or was it on you, or was it some defense that they put up?
Maybe I can start from the O-line perspective. I think Sweden and the Swiss were both really physical teams, so they played less zone against us and played more match defense. I hope I'm not giving away any tactics here, but we love to play offense against zone, as you might have seen. So they played a really tight match defense, and we were really, it was a tougher fight than the other games. Yeah, sure. Maybe you want to say something from D-line perspective?
Yeah, I think from the D-line perspective in the Sweden game, we just weren't there yet. We were kind of just still getting the hang of it, and also the Swedish women are so athletic and very quick, and since there are only 14 people and it was their first game as well, they were hyped and I think they put everything in it. So I think we adjusted our D-line offense, and then against the Swiss people, so our core skill I think is to defend the short space, and yeah, I think that's what we do best. And then the Swiss women had amazing long throws, which we sometimes didn't manage to stop. Yeah.
So if you could choose your opponent, would it be Sweden or Switzerland tomorrow in the quarter?
That's a question.
I think it's either Sweden or the Netherlands.
Netherlands, I'm so sorry. Of course, Sweden or the Netherlands.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I would love to play both teams, but I think I'd love to play the Netherlands because we had 1 loss and 1 win on the training camp, so there's kind of still the third game that has to be played.
I think I would pick Sweden. I think they don't have such a big roster, and if we can take away the key players, I think we should easily win that one.
So the last time, obviously, that the German women were favoured to come and win a European gold, obviously there was a intense match against Italy, which
still hurts. Okay.
No, I still remember going into the booth with Benji after that game, and I think your first word to me, Benji, was, "Have you emotionally recovered from the previous match?" I had not. I mean, it was absolute stonker, and hats off to the couple of players for the Italians that just came out of nowhere and did all the things. But what is it like playing with two of kind of the stalwarts from that team this season, Melinda Kosnitsky and, of course, Gia Binovies? You know, kind of the... Well, are they elder stateswomen yet? Have they gained that title? I don't know. But either way, Kia Binovies, of course, you know, doing all sorts of damage on the stats board against GB women today. But what's it like having kind of those older, more experienced players alongside who, you know, maybe have a little bit of a point to prove after 2019?
Yeah, 2019 was, I think the Italy game was the toughest game of my career. It still feels like a title was stolen. So we all came into that European Championship super hyped, as if we want to prove something. And definitely whenever we had a low moment at a training camp when it was tough to motivate ourselves, we literally said, hey, look back to that game. These few points can cost us a championship, and let's get our motivation back up.
Elinga?
Yeah, I still haven't watched that game back. I don't think I ever will. It was such an emotional night for us, and there's quite a few players from that roster playing as well. And to me, it has I made a switch in my mind. You still have to score to win a game, and now when we're in the lead with like 3 points, sometimes it comes to my head like, damn it, we still have to score to win. But I think the experience on the roster now will help us, and just the team will carry us through.
Brilliant. Well, I think that's all we have time for, but thank you so much for being with us, Anna and Inga. And we've got the Irish mixed component next. So we will go to a break and reshuffle.
Big thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.
Welcome back, everybody! All right, we're here to talk partition and how it was the worst mistake ever made. No, we are... It was a terrible decision, but it's too late now, bitches. No, welcome to Limerick Late Night Live. Sapning Kid. We are joined by the Irish mixed team, of course. Thank you so much, Grania McCarthy and Steege, whose real name I've been told was Stephen Jones?
Yeah. Or Stevie Weeby, if you were.
That makes much more sense. That explains the hair, but not the mustache. So, the first question I want to ask is, obviously you guys have been on a tear. When you look at your stat sheet, you guys have 2 players, effectively, who have no assists, and everybody else is contributing on scoring. And it just goes to speak to the kind of depth you guys have with moving the disc. So how have you been able to engender that kind of versatility throughout your whole roster?
I think we've been very lucky in terms of the setup in Ireland. We have great women's and men's clubs going through, and I think that's been really great to give those options. Also, I think we've managed to gel really well as a team over the campaign. We all see the incredible talent we've got, so I think there's also a great amount of trust as well. So I think that's probably one of my favorite things about this team, is that I trust everyone with that disc, and I trust everyone in that end zone. So with that in mind, I think we're not scared or worried about who's on disc or who's going to be cutting. So I think that's really, really helpful in that sense.
So, Grant, you were part of the team from 2019 that won gold.
Yes.
Obviously, that was a women's team.
What was that again?
Won gold.
That
won
was
gold.
it, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I think, won the tournament. So, that was...
Wait.
Anna Gurn is still in the bag. The Germans are both over in the
Right, did you get to meet the president's dog?
Yes, we did.
So that was a women's team.
Yes,
You're on a mixed team now. What's it like bringing more people that you... Because obviously there's some people on the team that you played with in 2019, but you're bringing more people that you didn't play with and you were in a different division playing a different dynamic. What's it like now, given that you had that success in 2019?
I think we've been very lucky about having those really tight games and understanding that this is a full week tournament and a lot can go differently, including the schedule changing. So I think having that knowledge and that kind of reassurance that we've been through this before is very helpful, especially since we know a lot of the male players coming onto the team have experienced the same level of success. So I think we've all been through tight games and know where it needs to change. I was lucky enough to be on the 2015 team as well for mixed. And also I find the mixed team as well for this year, like a lot of good crack, understanding what our goals are. So that's really, really great too.
And you kind of highlighted we're looking at the scores here. First game lost to Germany there, really tight one. And then other than that, looks like it's been a pretty good run through the tournament for you so far, Steege.
Yeah, phenomenal. Really couldn't have asked genuinely for a better template, I guess, for the tournament throughout. That first game, we knew it was been on our calendar for however many months now since it was announced, and we knew going into it that number one, it was going to be a phenomenal test. It's that old adage of we win or we learn, or we win and learn. And we certainly learned a lot, we felt, and it was the best way to have lost, I think, that game. Tough conditions, obviously, but both teams had to deal with them, and we were very happy to come out with it and to have played as well as we did. And I think it stood to us for the rest of the tournament thus far, and we've really, I think, progressed and, as G was saying, gelled as a team, really grown together, built more trust, understood one another a lot better, and that's showing across the stat sheet as well, that everyone's getting, a piece of the pie.
G talked about bringing new people into the team from 2019. You obviously won Euros with Ranelagh last year, and you have played with a lot of the guys on the team with Ranelagh. So the same question for you, what's it like bringing kind of new people to the dynamic that you already have?
Just up-and-coming club from Dublin. No, it's been a phenomenal experience for me personally, not only getting to, be on the team, first off, the competition for spots on this team was so high at the beginning. I really thought at trials that it was going to be a who's who of who could be on this panel, and then thereafter being lucky enough to be voted in as captain with G, and so really enjoying the experience. Coming from obviously a predominantly playing in the open division most of my career, I felt I've really learned a lot about what kind of motivates the other players, and what we always talk about enjoyment and what we where we find our joy in playing this sport. And I've had one experience growing up with or playing in the Open Division this whole time, so getting to learn what brings these other people joy, and the women's side of this team as well. So it's really expanded my game, I feel, and felt I've grown as a player a lot throughout this campaign.
One thing that Lorcan and I were talking about earlier that we're interested in getting your perspective on as we see the highlights of some of your games here. Your coaching staff is a very interesting one that set you up to make highlights like that clap catch.
Yeah, yeah, it's great. When you've players like anyone on the team, but Jack Mack in particular, he's a guy I got to play with for a number of years with Ranelagh and on Irish teams in the past as well. But we kind of made eyes early on in that one, and I just, he knew exactly where to put it and where I wanted it as well. But it's, like I said, gelling as a team throughout. There are God's amount of players on this team who know what I want now, and I know what they want, so we just play for one another.
So you've worked with Leo before. Leo was a D-line coach for Ranelagh last year. You hadn't worked with Leo as a coach before. He's the head coach here. What's it like working with him for both of you?
Yeah, it's like I've had the experience of playing with Leo as well, and like not only that, but seeing him start in college when I was still in UCD as well. So I've seen him grow and just learn the sport, and just especially grow as a coach. His first experience really with Ranelagh last year, and then taking on this head coaching role with the Irish team. It was very funny to see that his name was on, that like he was given that bid, but like there was no kind of like surprise either. He's like a man for the job, really, and it was clear from the start. So I'd never had any doubts when I saw it anyway.
Yeah, I think it's always interesting when you're coming in for a campaign when you don't know the management. I knew that Sinead Dunn and Emma Healy were on board, and that was really good signs for me. And given the success also of E2F, then I was like, well, this seems like a really great shout. And also Sarah Melvin, as assistant coach at the time, also spoke very highly of Leo. And it felt like there was a real structure that I knew I was familiar with 2019. I know that Frenchie's been involved a lot with Ranelagh style, so it felt like there was like a continuity of that style of management and style of coaching that I was excited to get involved with. And from what we've had so far, and our definitely our results have shown that Leo knows what he's doing and has got a really clear idea, and that's really helpful from our point of view, that we don't have to worry about what else is happening in the day. We know that Leo's going to tell us what's going to happen, and we just do that job. And I think as a player situation, that's such a relief to know that that's kind of not on your plate. Someone is looking at the bigger picture. We just want you to go get that D, or we're going to like suffocate this O-line, whatever it takes. Someone else looking at the bigger picture, and we just got to do that job for those 10 seconds. So really, really great to have that and Robin on board to really help us with that.
Well, you mentioned her name just there. I was going to say, great to get a shout out for Ian French as well, from one legend to another, Ian French to Robin Fennig. How did you initially make that connection with Robin to get her involved in the team?
I'm not entirely sure, but I do think, I do think it was just Leo asking. And I think that's a great chat of like, if you don't ask, you don't get, basically. And, I think it's both a testament to the level of players that we've got in Ireland, that she was like, yes, I'm going to pay to come over and work with you. And also her belief in the team. She has been, we were discussing outside about her connection between that kind of like, I'm here to play seriously, but I don't take myself too seriously. So that crossover of like being very clear about what we're going to do, but we're going to have a good time doing it, has been really, really great. And her nitpicking as well about us. And I mean that in a nice way. If we're winning, it doesn't matter. Robin's got some information for us that's going to make us better as the next level over. And having those two levels of coaching, I think, has really benefited everyone on the team so far. What do you think?
Yeah, no, again, Jay's nailed it. I have nothing else to add other than, like, throughout the week, any moment in the game where you think you've done everything perfect, Robin has seen something that we can improve on the next time. And as a player, just taking everything else out of your mind, just like really setting you up to be successful in this tournament. And again, throughout this coast week, I think we're growing and really learning as players again.
Yeah, I would agree. Robin definitely seems to have that hybrid of being goofy and fun, but also being just so precise and professional. An aspect of her coaching is that she hasn't been around in person. So from what I understand, please correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of it has been almost video calls and reviewing it. So what has that process been like? It's a little unorthodox.
A touch, yeah. I guess we didn't have a ton of like training weekends either. I think it was 3, including 2 warm-up tournaments as well. So then we kind of dotted in as many video calls as we could in that. Those were great. Not only are they an opportunity to learn or to kind of go through some theoretical structures and strategies, tactics, everything like that, but also just a chance to check in and I know we're maybe a bit fatigued with Zoom and Google Meet, whatever you were using throughout COVID, but like, and at times, obviously, there's limitations to what you can learn. I don't know, bad connections, everything like that we were dealing with over the course of them, and but just being able to talk to them and for her as well to like get a sense of what this team needs and like to ask questions and just check in with every one of us. I think it really set her up for this week. I think coming in cold, it would have been a lot more difficult, and she would have had to learn a lot more about us in a short space of time. But feels like we know her for years.
She does have that vibe sometimes. You talk to her and you're like, oh crap, am I friends with Rob?
We've had that moment a couple of times.
Anyway, sorry, I'm not friends with Robin. She's much cooler than me. But I would want to talk about facts. I would want to talk about something to do with your team. You've had some, obviously, losses to injuries. Lots of people go through that. But also when it comes to your success and how you respond to the kind of defenses people throw at you, it seems you're incredibly adaptable. So how have you managed to create the adaptability and continue to grow in that fashion?
Yeah, it comes back to the trust we have in one another again. Like it starts for me, it started with the coaching, that they're always going to set us up to be successful in those moments. And when, like you said, we have some unfortunate injuries early on in the tournament, and even obviously Sam Murphy going down earlier this season. But guys and the women's and the men on this team are very ready and willing to step up and play in those big moments and fill in. And not only that, like the people that have unfortunately been injured, they're still very much involved in the team as well. Like it is a whole roster push, and like everyone's needed. It's not just the physical, like the 7 on the field, it's everyone start to finish.
So we're going to look at some of the highlights of the Germany game here. So talking about the adaptability and like the coaches and how they set you up and everything. I suppose you said earlier, Steve, you win or you learn. You must have taken a lot from that with all the many meetings that I know G can talk about that you have with the squad and with the management. You must have learned so much from this game. It's adversity, but you just learn more for what's coming next, right?
Yeah, 100%. And I think with every game that we play, we're having to be challenged in different aspects of the game. And so with having a team that's that adaptable is what I think sets us apart in terms of everyone has played against a different type of zone or a different type of force or a different kind of like pressure. And I think having that variety of levels and experience in the team makes people then react to, oh, we got this kind of force, we got this, we can make this work. And with that being really clear then from our handlers or our cutters downfield, the rest of the team are willing to adapt. We were actually just saying in the earlier games when we were looking back at our Italy game that like there were certain scenes where actually it was best for a handler to go upfield and we have cutters just standing off and pulling away. And we're like, teams don't always do that, but we have the kind of like awareness of the pitch that I think is really, really key for us, that we can make those changes quite quickly no matter what's going on. And I think the Germany game we learned tons about our versatility, which is amazing to take into the back pocket for a quarterfinal tomorrow.
Versatility, even with the conditions like there was in that Germany game, which didn't look. I wasn't here at the time. I arrived a bit late.
God.
It looked was that? Yeah, I know, but it looked like it was pretty difficult. But maybe this is what you used to. Maybe this is what you used to.
We do have a bit of a look that most of our training, I'd say, growing up around the sport has been in this kind of weather. So I think it's been lucky enough taken on the chin, and as well as it being home turf. I don't think people realise how much that means to us playing in Limerick and Ireland. So I think we feel it from the ground up almost, if you want to say it, about how great it is to be playing on home turf wearing green jersey. So hopefully using that going forward.
And I'm sure that if you do manage to pull out the gold medal on Friday night, with the finals of course being moved a day earlier, I'm sure it will be a hell of a party.
Yeah, of course. yeah, naturally. Whether we're there or not, it'll be a hell of a party, to be honest. But we're taking this step by step. Obviously, we're not looking past the quarterfinal, and just prepping for that. Obviously, waiting for the results tomorrow to find out who that's going to be against. But Yeah, we're very much present and kind of like focusing on us as a team. That's just kind of been our MO this entire campaign, and yeah, we'll take what comes, I guess, and be ready for whoever's there.
Lovely. Huge round of applause for Gronja and Stige. Now, Steph, I see you sitting menacingly with a laptop there in the corner. Do you have tomorrow's streaming schedules?
Breaking news. First of all, obviously excited for the party, but even before the championship party, the winner's circle is kind of the launching pad to the party. So that's what everybody's most excited about, the EURODISC winner's circle, and then the party after you win the championship. But pre-quarters, mixed, 9 o'clock time slot. We've got 2 of them. Finland versus Latvia, Poland versus Hungary. Pre-quarter in the open round. This is the 11 o'clock time slot. Spain versus Austria, Italy versus Ireland. Quarterfinals from there. I don't think I can go there because there's expected results. And I can't tell you what the expected results, even though they're being seen by others. So the first 2 rounds confirmed. The next, we will have to deliberate with the powers that be, which is the Federation members, and we will bring you those from the stream. We're sure you'll all be watching.
Yeah, the plan for tomorrow, I think, is to have, of course, the 2 ulti.TV streamed fields, and there's 2 VO fields, I think, as well tomorrow. So I don't think we can quite get all of the pre-quarters in, but all of the quarterfinals will be available either on ulti.TV or on the EUF VO fields. And from Friday, every game will be live on ulti.TV, both semi-finals in each division, plus, of course, the full setup for each final. And I cannot wait, as I'm sure everyone else can, especially Sean, because it means that he doesn't have to miss the finals.
Yep. Fantastic. Big win, big win.
Just a point, in case anyone doesn't know, Benji, how to access those VO streams. How do you go about doing that?
That is a very good question. How do you go about doing that?
I believe you download the app and then you find the European Federation account, and that is where they are live. I do believe they're being re-uploaded as they have been before, but if you want to watch the action as it happens, you have to get yourself the VO app and then track down the European Federation account. But we will put it on our socials so you do not miss a moment.
And if you're taking the effort to get onto your digital devices to find those games, you might as well hit the like and subscribe button and become a patron while you're at it. As always, recommended here at ulti.TV.
Yeah, got to get those calls to action in, Steph. That will keep everyone happy. That is going to do it. A huge thank you to EURODISC, of course, for helping to sponsor Limerick Late Night Live and making all the good stuff happen. Big round of applause. And a huge other round of applause for all of our guests today, Dan and Toby, Anna and Inga, who are still sitting behind me, and, of course, Gronja and Stige. Huge thanks to everyone for coming in once again. Finally, we get down into the business end of the tournament. Knockout games start 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. I can't even speak. That's how excited I am.
We'll see you tomorrow.
We'll see you at 9 o'clock.
Thanks, everyone. We live in a world where everything can be referenced online. Imagine if the greatest moments in our sport were never filmed. EURODISC continues to do what it takes to make free-to-watch live streams a reality. Let's leave nothing to the imagination. We'll consume the action live, and we'll support those that help to make it happen. If it wasn't streamed, it didn't happen. EURODISC.
What a grab! Oh my, somehow they do it!
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ulti.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
fund
fund
our work to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
Yeah, I don't want to. What do they do? This camera sit down, Will. Where's the recording going? Looking at Morgan. Everybody say United Ireland. Sunny, sunny Limerick. Let it out. We're going back in the ball.
Wow, that was awesome.
I loved it, Benji.
Sunny Limerick. Hey, it was today. Did you remember it was today?
What's our game situation?
I think it's 0. I was just like, very motivated or inspired. Best of luck tomorrow.
I can come with you. We're going to the shop.
Will I have the card and I'll get bring some gear back? Thank you. Is that the card?
Where's he? Down there?
Okay, I'm gonna go get it.
Aber natürlich Angst, was ich muss. Right, you got it?
Yeah,
It's already past our bedtime. It's already past our bedtime. That's why it's called late night live. We should do some couple karaoke, like the late show. I mean, we're recording it. I will happily sing with you. Don't even pitch. I have a song, Anna. We've been singing Avatar soundtrack. The Avatar soundtrack.
This is not dangerous at all.
Oh my god.
Oh gosh. You know, the hero that we desperately
Thank
need
you.
to deserve.
Why was that the priority and not the eggs?
Alright. Think about that. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thanks for coming.
From this camera, you were down the bottom.
Guess which fucker broke an egg?
Was it you?
No, it's Milan.
And it was one of the others.
Hey! Well, I look like the sort of person that. No, actually, yeah.
Did you see me in Milan with the socks? So you in Milan? Didn't Anna's sock get involved? Yeah. She thought it was what we were doing and not getting to.
Well, wasn't it my socks originally that Miran made a whole thing about? It's also very cool socks. And he was just showing me your socks going in the shop.
Yeah, I think
And then
show Ben problem.
get her socks and put them on and
You know that great stuff. Yeah, and mine were coming in from the other side. I didn't realise you didn't have the things downloaded. I had to download it.
I'm talent, I shouldn't have to be doing this.
Yeah, well, the problem was the stats thing didn't load.